This is the mittens I was talking about. It's very, very good and it keeps you warm because now this is just a fashionable type. So it protects your neck, it covers every single thing. Let me put this down so that you see. I hope you can see. It has. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl on my everyday C. Thanks for clicking on this video. Thanks for joining in. As always, I'm very excited to be in front of you guys today and to talk about what I want to talk about. Yes, so a subscriber reached out to me to specifically request for this video, and why not, if not, make this video for the subscriber and anyone that will definitely benefit from it. So today I'm going to be talking about how to prepare for winter in Canada. If you're new on this channel and you don't know, I live in Winnipeg, Manitoba in Canada. And Winnipeg, Manitoba is one of the Prairie regions in Prairie, if I got it right, in Canada. So there are three Prairie regions in Canada. That is Manitoba, Alberta, and Saskatchewan. Yes, and these places are very, very cold. That doesn't mean we don't have other places that are cool. Like everywhere in Canada experience winter. I just wanted you guys to know that I'm going to be talking about laying emphasis on this extreme cold because of where I stay, but you will definitely benefit from it wherever it is you are in Canada. If this is something you're interested in, do make sure to stay tuned, relax, sit tight, and let's get straight to this video. So I'm going to be categorizing, obviously, as I always say, I have this on my phone just to have like a very good train of thought. And I categorize this in about, let's say, 5 categories just for everything to flow. You get what I mean? So the very first category is winter gears. Second is for our children. Third is if you have a car. The fourth is how to prepare our homes for winter. And the last one is just for our health. Now, the very first one is the winter gears you need to put on your body. Yes, there are so many things that you need to put on your body when you are preparing yourself for winter. And it's very important to get to get specific things and get the right ones for the cold that you're experiencing in your province. Now, the very first one is the jacket. That's like a given. You need a winter jacket. Now, what now makes it special, or the specific thing, or the special thing about a jacket is the type of jacket you get. You need to get a jacket that will suit your weather. Yes. So for places like Manitoba, Alberta, Saskatchewan, and even some other provinces, it's best to get jackets that you can see the temperatures they cover or they protect you from. So you can get jackets for here now. I got a jacket for myself that covers as much as -40. So, and where I got my jacket is Mountain Warehouse. There are other places you can check for winter jackets. You can check Walmart and some other places, but it's very important to just check this negative or the specificity. I don't know how to say it in their tags. It's usually in their tags. Some might not have that. Doesn't mean they're not going to protect you from these negative weathers, but you need to be very sure. So just look out for that. You'll find -40, -50, and so many other temperatures that they protect you from. So just look out for that. You also, when you have babies, you can get overall winter gears for them, like overalls, like a onesie. I have that for my baby girl, and it's does wonders. You can also get them like hats, mittens that are like so cute and little, and they usually have fur materials on the inside that will protect them from winter. I just needed to say that for the gears. Then for your toddlers, there are also thick jackets for toddlers that you can get. You can get the ones that have the fur on the inside, and the most ones I've seen usually have fur on the inside, but some might not necessarily have fur. Doesn't mean they are not very protective. Just make sure you check very well. I don't know if there is necessarily the specific tags that shows the temperature, the cover for kids. I tried to look for that for Sekina, but I didn't see. But I don't think you need to really worry about that because you can as well layer and do some layering for them, and they don't move as much as we would do in the in outside, if you get what I mean. Like we get to protect them more. So I don't think you need to worry so much about the negatives. But if you do find, just go for the one that is a bit above what you usually experience, if you get what I mean. Then you need thick socks, very thick socks, yes, especially when you go out. Tiny socks might not necessarily work, especially if you don't have a car. If you have a car, you can wear thin socks because you will not walk for a long period of time before you enter your car. But if you're going to be walking on the snow, especially on the snow, you're going to need thick socks. You can get that at any store, Dollarama, Walmart, Value Village, I think. And some it is very easy to find. You can even order on Amazon, Temu, and I think Shein. Yeah. Then you need good winter boots, very good winter boots. You can try and find winter boots that can protect you from snow entering into your leg. But I don't know. I've not found, but if you walk in the snow for a long period of time, it starts melting and you just find that your legs are wet. You will think your boots are leaking. Trust me, they aren't. It's just the way it is. So if you can find winter boots that can protect you from that, do make sure you try and find that. But if not, just make sure you don't walk so much in the snow, or prepare your mind that it can happen. You understand? Gloves, mittens. It's best to get mittens instead of gloves. I know it's kind of easier to use gloves because you can still do some certain things with your hands, but you find out that when you wear some gloves, when you wear gloves, your fingers gets colder than when you wear mittens. So it's just more or less like when you wear mittens, your hands are together. So you kind of keep your hands warm, but when you wear gloves, each finger is exposed. If that's just the analogy I can give. So it's best to get mittens than gloves. It's very important because these hands need to be protected. They get cold easily, faster, quicker, and you won't like yourself if they get cold. So it's best to wear mittens instead of gloves. That doesn't mean you can't wear gloves for certain colds, like if it's not so cold, like maybe if you are below maybe -5 and and above. If you are -5 and above, you can still do away with mittens and manage gloves. But when you're experiencing those major minuses, please wear mittens. Then we're talking about thermals. Thermals are very important because it's one thing to wear the jacket. Like the jacket protects you, like the outer part of your body, if you get what I mean. But the thermal wears keep you really warm. You'll be amazed as to how much they do the job. And it's not about how thick they are. Trust me, it's in the fabric that they use in making it. So it's best to go to places where they sell thermal wears, and not just you wearing like body up tops or wearing turtleneck tops. It's not by that. Is by the thermal wear. So you can feel it that it's thin, some thermal wears, but when you wear them, you will feel the impact. So it's very important, and you can find them at Mountain Warehouse and some other stores. But I got mine at Mountain Warehouse, and I got my thermal leggings at I'll write the name on the screen. I can't remember the name at this moment. No, Just Cozy. Yes, Just Cozy. So there are some thermal leggings that have some fur inside, and some they're just normal leggings. But the fabric they use in making them is what makes it thermal. So you need thermal to keep you warm. Um, then you also need good head warmers to protect your head, and some are long enough to protect your ears. There are also some hold on. So, guys, I thought why not just show you instead of just talking about these things. So, this is the meetings I was talking about. It's very, very good, and it keeps you warm because it just protects your hands better. Then, this is what I want to talk about. I don't know what it's called. So, just in case you feel your head warmer, it's not going to protect your ear, or maybe you don't want to put on a head warmer. Maybe you have hairs, like you have long hair, or you whatever the case may be. Maybe your hair is already covered because you put on a wig or you put on a turban, like I do. Sometimes I just put on my turban and I put this to protect my ear because the ears too get really cold. Then um, there's also something called the balaclava. Yes, if I got it right, and there are some cold times. So when you are experiencing like -20 something and above, you really want to protect your neck. And yes, it's good to have a scarf, which is one of the things that you need to get. It's good to have a scarf to protect your neck and all those things, but there are some times that the scarf will not do justice. So it's best to get a balaclava. Now this is just a fashionable type, so it protects your neck, your face. It's just your eyes that will be exposed. It protects everything. Once you put this on, like nothing would enter, trust me. And you can just put on your winter jacket hoodie over your head. And it's just to keep you really warm and keep you from getting really cold, because apart from the cold weather, there's this thing called the wind, like the is it called windshield or something? Wind chill, I don't know. The wind makes the cold really, really much, such that you're feeling the weather might be -20, but the real feel can be as high as -30 something. That wind can make the cold extremely stressful for you. So it's good to just protect you with the things you can protect yourself. And this is for people that mostly take walks, have to enter the bus. Because when you're taking a car, you might not have to experience all of these things. So this is for new immigrants that have to like take the bus and all those things before they probably get themselves a car. You might need to get a face mask. Like I said, for extreme weathers, the balaclava will do the job, balaclava. But if it's not so extreme, doesn't mean the wind will not still make the cold much more, intense. So you can just get a face mask, to protect yourself from the flu, to not give anybody else the flu, and also to protect yourself from the wind. That wind can be very stressful sometimes. Then you need lip gloss to keep your lips from cracking. You need Vaseline or shea butter. I would rather say you mix the shea butter and Vaseline together, because shea butter, as much as it makes your skin greasy, it is not moisturizing enough. I don't think it's moisturizing. So mixing it with Vaseline, which is really moisturizing, can just keep you very, very moisturized and prevent you from having a dry skin. Then you need to learn how to layer. Like if you don't have a car, layer as much as you can, but don't overdo it, so that you don't get, if you have a thermal, all you just probably need is maybe like a top, a sweatshirt or a sweater before you put on your jacket. If you have a thermal, you don't need to wear so much, but it depends on how much the cold is for you. If you're someone who gets really cold, you can just have like 2 or 3 layers of outfits before you put on your jacket and you're good to go. And that's that for the gears. This can be a lot, but trust me, once you put them on, you're good to go, you're fine. You won't necessarily feel the cold as much as you would have if you didn't have all this on. Now the next one is for your children, and there's really not much for children. It's just I just needed to make this another section, because if you have toddlers and you have babies like I do, there are certain things you can do that can help protect them from the cold. Like if you have a baby, you need to get them a stroller. Even if you have a car, it's best to get them a stroller if you can afford one, so that when you want to probably move around inside the stores, it's going to make moving around easy. And if you get to like a store or a complex and you want to move from one store to another, and you don't want to get into your car, the stroller would also do that job. Trust me, you will not know when you will need the stroller. So, and there are things you can use to cover the strollers for your kids. You can also get strollers for your toddlers. Both my baby, my infant, and my toddler have strollers, yes. And obviously I can't carry them out at the same time, but they have strollers. So whenever one person needs to go out and the other person doesn't need to go out, Sekina has a stroller and her daddy takes her to school with the stroller. Do you understand? So you can get stroller covers for either your toddler, for both of them, especially for the snowy period and for the very intense cold. For Sekina, she doesn't necessarily need the stroller cover like she used to, because she's now a big girl. So the stroller is more or less to just make it easy to move her around. But for babies like Semiha, like small babies, they need the stroller cover so that they don't catch a cold. And I want to show you how it's like. So this is how I will show you. I'll probably put a link, because I got it from Amazon. I'll put a link in my description box. See? It covers every single thing. Let me put this down so that you will see. I hope you can see. It has the 4 inside and it's zipped. It's all covered. And after I put her in, I don't even have to put her. I would explain that when I see that, when I sit down. So this is how it is, and I even just do this. But even without this, if I want to carry the car seat, because this also says as a car seat, if I want to carry it, I don't need to worry because it's going to protect her. I needed to be very thorough with this video. So, and when you're going to use this cassette or this, when you get this stroller cover for your infant, you realize that you don't need to wear jackets for them or winter jackets for them when they're in the car seat, because based on my research, I realized that it's really not safe to put on winter jackets for your babies that are in car seats, because it loosens the strap, and God forbid anything, it's not going to protect them. So it's best for them to still wear whatever it is they're going to wear. You can just do two layering. Maybe you wear their bodysuit and their leggings or their short trousers, and you put on like an overall for them. That's all they need. They don't need winter jackets in their car seats. I actually recently found out about that. This is going to protect them. The other thing you can do is just put a blanket over over them. Don't cover their hands, obviously. So just put a blanket to protect them. Then you put that cover over them, and they are going to feel warm. They will not even feel the cold. Obviously, you still will not try your best not to expose yourself or not to stay or keep them out in the cold for too long, because these things work for just a period of time regardless of how much they work. And you can also layer for your toddlers as well. Layering works for them. They need to keep warm, but layer with sense. Don't overdo it, because they also feel heat as well. Children hate heat. Now the next one is if you have a car. Now if you have a car, you all this layering, dressing up will not really be needed, but you still need to have some things, like you still need to have a good winter jacket, good gloves or mittens, because you find out that when you want to go out, maybe you want to fuel your car, or you want to quickly go and do something, that short period of time that you go out of your car, especially in this extreme cold, you will feel that your hands are very cold, and you forget, because you are driving a car, you just be like, oh, I didn't remember to get myself a glove. So you need to protect yourself. So it's best. The number one thing about number one thing I want to one number one tip. So my number one tip for if you have a car is it's best for you to have a car with a remote start. If you're buying your car, get a car that has a remote start. But if you're not able to get a car that has a remote start, try and consider installing one into your car. And this is because, trust me, your car has been out in the cold for hours, sometimes overnight. You can't just up in and drive. You need to keep your car warm, because the even the steering will be very cold, that you will not be able to drive with it, even with your gloves or your mitten. It might be that cold. Maybe with your mitten you might be able to manage, but you won't want to be using your gloves or your mitten to drive. You won't be comfortable doing that. So with the remote start, you would be able to turn on your vehicle, which is another tip. You'll be able to turn on your vehicle, and most vehicles automatically the heating will be on once you turn it on. So you'll be able to turn it on before you go to your car, if you get what I mean, especially if you have children. As an adult, you can wing it, but kids can't. So don't suffer your children. So the best is for you to turn on the car about 20 minutes. If you don't want to waste your fuel, you understand, about 20 minutes to 30 minutes, let's say between 15 minutes to 30 minutes before you start driving your car, depending on how cold it is. If it is extremely cold, like -30, -40, please turn on the heating about 30 minutes and above before you go to your car, to keep it really warm, especially for your children. I would also advise, I'm sure we Nigerians or we Africans, we don't really do this, but let's us imbibe the culture of having spare winter gears in our cars, like sweaters, jackets, head warmers, blankets, anything that we can just manage and put in our cars in case of necessity. We never can tell, we can get stranded on the road. Anything can happen. We don't pray for that, but anything can happen. So just try and make sure you have spare of all these things that can just at least take care of you, or you and whoever it is that you're in the car, in case anything happens. You might have forgotten to carry your gloves, you might have forgotten to carry your mittens, maybe you realize that the socks you have is not too thick enough, anything. So just have a spare of all these things in your car, just to keep you warm in case of necessity. And yeah, I would just say, for people who have cars, don't say because you have a car you will not protect yourself. protect yourself at least as in the best way you can. I've seen people who, because they have their cars, including my husband, who will just go outside and wing it and say, oh, it's not so cold. Trust me, you might get out and it might not be so cold. And this is even for everybody, whether you have a car or you don't have a car. It might be minus 12 or minus 10, and you might be like, let me just put on something light. But before you come home, it has increased to minus 20, minus 20 something, and you start getting really cold. So, in as much as it's not so cold and you don't want to feel heat, you can just carry along certain things with you, or better still, just dress really warm, such that even when it gets cold outside, you'll be able to still feel warm. You don't want to be found outside freezing. You won't like yourself. And don't compare yourself to Igbo people. We are different, so don't compare yourself to them and start feeling like you can just wing it. You might not be able to, and to tell in your body when you start catching a cold. The other one is for our home. Yes, for our home. How do we prepare our home for winter? It's not just putting on the heater. That's is beyond that. There are other things you can do to prepare your home for the winter, especially to protect yourself from catching a flu. First, no matter what you do, if you will catch a flu, you will. But there are certain things you can still do to protect yourself, if you get what I mean. The very first thing is clean your home for the winter. I also just realized there are some parts of our homes build that kind of where molds come up, or where molds build up, whatever the English may be. And it's because, because of snow, the cold, and all those things, especially when it starts snowing, it starts melting and it seeps in through the walls of our homes. And you start finding out that you are seeing greenish, blackish molds growing. So it's best for you to first make sure you don't put things towards the walls, especially the walls that are close to the outside, the exterior of your house, so that molds don't build up. And try and check those walls to clean them every other week or maybe every month. If things are not at the walls, it won't grow as fast as if things are by the walls. So try and make sure you clean them, because these things can cause sickness. It can cause cold, it can cause flu, it can cause infection or anything. And apart from cleaning your home, get yourself a blanket, a duvet. It's not every time you want to put on the heater, especially if eating is not inclusive, in your utilities. So try your best to make sure you keep yourself warm. So maybe when you turn off the heater for a while, you still have that blanket. So get yourself a blanket, and a very good one. You can still put on sweaters. Keep yourself warm in the house. Don't, because you don't want to, and this is for somebody who doesn't want to put on the heater every time. You can always wear sweaters. Get yourself good sweaters. Get yourself good socks as well. Indoor socks, indoor footwears or slides that you can put on. And I think that's pretty much it for indoors. And there are some homes that are really well insulated, like our home is really well insulated, that sometimes it's still warm even when it's cold outside. It's only when it is really, really cold outside, like maybe extreme negative, that's when it gets really cold inside. So, and I can say part of the insulation can be maybe the covering of the underneath of your doors. So if you don't have that, if your doors are kind of has like space, like has like a space, an opening, you can try and find a way to insulate it. Just go online on how you can insulate your homes. Like our door has this four covering, so it's part of the insulation, if you get what I mean. So you can look into that. And that's pretty much it about what you can do to protect yourself at home. And for health in general, I would say I would advise you to get the flu shot. I would say the reason why I caught a flu is because, and I just realized, my doctor told me that it's because I am breastfeeding, and it compromises one's immunity. So regardless of whether you take a flu shot or not, you are not necessarily protected as much if you're breastfeeding and if you're pregnant. But my husband got the flu shot and he hasn't caught a flu. Like, he has had symptoms of different things. Like, he has had like signs that something is happening, but he realizes that his immunity is fighting it. I would say it's because of the flu shots, obviously, and God. So I would advise you to get the flu shot if you can. And apart from the flu shot, just try as much as possible to protect yourself. Eat good food, eat highly nutritious food, get multivitamins that has the vitamins that are needed, especially for your kids. Kids, adults, we all need vitamin D because we won't have much exposure to the sun as we want or as we should. So vitamin D is very important. Get multivitamins. If you're a correct Naija person, cook pepper soup for yourself, for your kids. If you don't want to give them pepper soup because of the pepper, you can make chicken soup for them. It works well for Sekina. I usually make chicken soup for her whenever she's not feeling, too well, or when she catches a cold, and I just pack it with lots of spices and lots of vegetables, and it works magic. So, get rub. There's this Vaso rub that is really safe for toddlers. I don't know about rub for babies or for kids under 1 year old. I don't know about that, but you can get rubs for your babies, for your toddlers rather. Vaso rub or the rub we are used to. Um, you can also use rub for yourself. It works, and I think that's pretty much it. And if you need to see the doctor, see the doctor. To just check you, to check your blood, your system, to just be sure that you're fine. And if you're not feeling okay after a while, if you've taken care of yourself, don't hesitate to see the doctor. If you get what I mean. And the what I would just say to cap it all up is um all these things, trust me, it's not magic. It's not that maybe they will perform miracle or wonders, but it's just that they would go a long way to protect you, like a whole long way to protect you from catching a cold or falling sick. And it's just you doing your own part and leaving the rest to the Almighty. There's nothing more that you can do apart from doing your best and just thrive through the winter. And another thing I would say is mentally prepare yourself for the winter. Yes, we don't like the winter, we don't like the cold, but you're here. You can't do anything about it. You can't take it away. So why not just live in the moment, enjoy it, enjoy the snow, go out when you can, you know, try and stay indoors. But when you have any fun thing to do outdoors, still try and go out when you can and just enjoy it. Because we have longer winters than summers. So it is what it is. If you have other tips to share in the comment section, as always, please leave them down below. And I hope I made sense. I hope you find one or two things I've said helpful, useful, and all that good stuff. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Don't forget to turn on the post notification bell so that whenever I upload new videos, you'll be the very first one to know about it. Till next time, make sure you stay safe, take good care of yourself, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.